Tonight on The Real ER, a motorcyclist is rushed to A&E with serious injuries after a head-on collision. And one builder becomes a little bit too attached to his work after standing on a rusty nail. All this and more on The Real ER. It's Wednesday afternoon at RAF Cosford in Shropshire.
Air operations.
An emergency call scrambles the air ambulance. The pilot will fly 2 paramedics to the scene of a head-on collision involving a motorcyclist. The chopper travels at 150 miles per hour. Speed is of the essence. What happens to an accident victim within the first hour is vital. Motorcyclist Robert Taylor has been in a collision with at least one other vehicle near Hereford. His bike has been seriously damaged. Now paramedics assess just how badly Robert has been hurt. He has an obvious broken leg, however he may have other serious but less apparent injuries. He'll be taken to Birmingham Selly Oak Hospital, which is specifically geared up to deal with major trauma cases. The 50-mile journey would take the average motorist an hour and a quarter. The helicopter does it in 18 minutes. Pre-warned, the team at Selly Oak are ready for Robert's arrival.
We were told that we had a 50-year-old gentleman coming in who'd been on a motorbike and involved head-on with a car. We were told he had a fractured femur and a fractured tib and fib. He was fully conscious and talking, and no other apparent injuries apart from grazes.
The team can take no chances. He's taken to Resus, where he'll be checked for internal injuries, which, without treatment, could be fatal.
Hello everybody.
Yep.
This is Rob, 50-year-old male motorcyclist, apparently overtaking a lorry, and it's appeared that he's had a collision with the oncoming traffic. He's then hit another car and ended up on the floor. His bike's massively destroyed. Airway's been clear throughout and self-maintained. Only obvious injuries from head to toe is right femur and right tib fib. It was quite nastily deformed on scene.
Can we get them over, please?
His leg was quite badly deformed and in a strange position. We needed to move it into a splint, but we needed to wait for the pain relief to kick in first. On a really hot day like today, it creates complications for us trying to assess a patient. We look at certain signs and symptoms like sweating, for example. If you're sweating, we assume that you're losing fluid somewhere and your blood pressure's low. Now today, is he sweating because he's low blood pressure, or is he sweating because he's hot? His radial pulse, which is the pulse at his hand, was quite good, which indicates that his blood pressure was sufficient to maintain life. So from that, we just took the fact that he was sweating because it was hot, and so were we sweating because it was hot.
Not every case dealt with in A&E is life-threatening. Many are just plain painful. 37-year-old builder Dave Griffin has trodden on a 2-inch nail, which is stubbornly resisting efforts to pull it out.
I was just doing it, salvage some wood that I need for my decking. And I stripped the last bit and just trod straight on it. It's a pallet nail and it goes in one way. It's ribbed, so you can't pull it out.
Dave makes his way carefully to be seen by Dr. Martin Smythe.
So let's have a look here. So you think this nail is about 2.5 inches, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think what we'll do is we'll get an x-ray done, see how deep it is into the foot, and then hopefully we'll be able to pull it out and take your shoe off and see where we'll go from there, all right? Okay.
Dave's not the only builder in casualty. 33-year-old Neil Cotton has suffered an electric shock from a high-voltage cable that could have killed him. Shop staff had called him in to take a look after hearing a bang from the ceiling.
Previously, I'd turned the power off, climbed on a stool, lifted a roof tile out, moved that back, and saw a couple of cables. Just went to move out of the way to see if I could see anything, where the explosion had come from, the bang had come from, and that's when it got me. As I touched it, my hand clamped, I couldn't get off it, and had my light flash in front of me. I couldn't say anything to anyone to help me, because you can't. I was that tensed. And the stool I was standing on, luckily, collapsed in the night. I fell onto a till and landed on the floor. So the stool saved me really.
Electricity burns are one of the dangerous burns. They can sometimes kill them there and then if there is really high volt electricity. Apart from having burns, patient can have other injuries because they give severe jerks to them and they can have dislocation and even fractures of the bones. The electricity can travel to the heart, and so that's why we do the ECG tracing.
No, keep your legs straight for me, sweetie.
In resus, motorcyclist Robert Taylor's condition is being assessed.
Have a blanket, guys.
We normally assess them to see whether the airways are okay, whether they're breathing properly, or there's any decrease in the air entry, and also his circulation, like his pulse.
Yeah, pulse is okay.
Pulse fine.
Because if his pulse is rapid and his blood pressure is down, he could be losing blood somewhere, so we need to check those things to make sure he's stable.
Definitely.
Robert's condition is judged stable enough for him to go to X-ray.
Rob, most important thing, will you tell me?
Builder Dave Griffin, who has a nail stubbornly stuck in his foot, has also gone round to X-ray. The team want to establish if it has penetrated a bone, which would make it harder to remove and risk serious infection. What the X-rays reveal is good news for Dave.
The help with this X-ray is really just showing me that it's not embedded in the bone. If you look at this one, you can see it's very difficult to tell where the end of the nail is. It could be anywhere throughout the forefoot. But if we look at this one, you can see that the tip of the nail is not actually in a bone. So definitely a good thing, because if a foreign body goes into a bone, an infection in a bone, osteomyelitis, is quite a difficult infection to treat, and it would be much more serious infection than just a soft tissue infection.
Neil Cotton has been undergoing tests after suffering a potentially lethal shock from a high voltage cable. And apart from the burns on his right hand, he's been given the all clear.
Neil has been really lucky because his stool's leg collapsed. Otherwise, as he said, he was trying to get off the cable and he couldn't. It could have been disaster.
Arms very aching, like I've been hit around it with a stick a few times. Neck's hurting, and so I've got a very thick head, forgetting things and a different outlook on life, totally. You know, I won't take stuff for granted anymore. It's totally changed me. So, fingers crossed I won't be grabbing any more cables.
X-rays confirm motorcyclist Robert Taylor has a broken thigh bone and is exposed to the air, risking infection. Registrar Mr. Akshay Mira is in no doubt that he needs urgent surgery.
What we can see here is that he has got a fracture which has got multiple fragments of the mid-shaft of his right femur. Because of the potential risk of infection, these fractures have to be treated urgently with an operation. Right, can you wiggle your toes for me? And your ankle a bit. Very good, excellent. Can you feel me touch? Sorry. Our plan would be to first put him in a splint to stabilize the fracture. Then we would arrange for him to go to theatre sometime this evening. The only way to give this fracture good stability is by putting a nail down. And that will allow us to start mobilizing you or start walking you very quickly.
Specialists from the Burns and Plastics Department have arrived to examine Neil Cotton's hand.
As you can see, that there's a deep burn there, and we don't know what's going on in there, so we'll have to debride that, clean it up and find out whether it's a deep burn or not. Can you make a fist for me and open out again? This one is a bit dull, so what we'll do is we'll dress all this up, see you back in the clinic on Monday and see how you're coming along. If there is any problem during the weekend, you should come back straight to A&E and we'll take it from there. In his case, the burns weren't too deep and he was lucky enough that he only got small areas which are burnt. If it's a superficial burn, then regular dressings would be all that is required, and he should make a normal recovery within 2 to 3 weeks' time.
Yesterday I thought I was going to die. It's the closest I've ever been to death in my life. So I'm more or less touched the gates of heaven. I think it's totally different outlook on life, totally. I've got a 4-year-old son at home, so that's all I can picture at the moment.
The doctors have established the nail is not stuck into a bone, so it's time for Dave Griffin to bite the bullet.
So 3 really big puffs now.
It's all right, just relax.
Well done. Brilliant. Turn hands, done. Okay, it's done.
Done.
Well done.
Did it hurt?
All right. Well done.
I'll take that as a yes. Well, it was a bit harder to pull out than I thought, but it came nice straight out. And when we looked at the nail, it didn't look like it had been embedded too deeply into his foot. We'll want to check again whether or not there's any injury to nerves, and we'll check again that there's no infection. And so hopefully in the meantime he'll come back to us if there is a problem that clearly develops between now and then.
Oh, it's such relief when it comes out. It's well wedged. I can see why they give that to pregnant women. As long as they don't get infected, I'll be happy now.
Within hours of a head-on collision, motorcyclist Robert Taylor is on the operating table at Selly Oak Hospital. The surgeons, consultant Mr Tanweer Ashraf and registrar Mr Akshay Meera are boring a hole to insert a metal pin a centimetre in diameter that will hold together the broken thigh bone, the femur.
We've reduced the fracture site under X-ray control, and now we have got the guide wire down. The next step up would be to ream the canal to allow the nail to go in.
The operation took a total of 3 hours because it was quite difficult to reduce the fracture as it was very displaced. It's a metallic nail which is introduced into the bone from the top going downwards, and then it is fixed with screws both at the upper and the lower end so that it doesn't rotate, or it gives the fracture the stability to unite which it needs. The pin was around 380 millimeters. That's 38 centimeters.
28-year-old bathroom fitter Simon Parker has come to A&E after suffering stabbing pains in his chest. Doctors Hamid Shizad and Jules Walton suspect a punctured lung. It's a condition particularly common among tall people like Simon, who measures up at just over 6 foot 2 inches.
Okay. Apparently, for the height and build, it's very prone for me to have this sort of problem. It's just down to the fact that the thing said the lung being stretched over such a distance, lets air come on the outside of it. Right now, I don't notice it. If I start walking down the hallway or something, the impact of my feet in the floor, that will make it hurt on my chest.
A telltale dark area representing escaped air on Simon's X-rays confirms that he has a punctured lung.
It's very, very dark there with none of those little white markings. You see the difference between that and that. There's no markings there. And if you look closely, you can actually see the edge of the lung up here, look. Just creeping all the way up. Whereas on this side, if you look, you can't actually see the edge of the lung. The markings go all the way to the outside. So this essentially here is air that's outside the lung, between the lung and the ribs.
In the minor injuries area of A&E, 8-year-old Owen Sheridan, a keen fan of Manchester United and Wayne Rooney in particular, has been brought in with a foot injury.
He was playing football with his dad yesterday and running down the hill after his ball, and he's got his foot stuck in a hole and fell over, and that was that. So.
I can't walk on it, and I got a few scratches from it, and my foot can't go very straight.
He loves football. Every time it's on the telly, nobody else gets to looking at the telly because football's on. He never shuts up about it either. So yeah, if there is something really seriously wrong with his foot, it's going to affect him badly this 6 weeks holiday.
Very good.
Selly Oak offers only limited A&E facilities for children, but Mum Teresa Lacey carries Owen to a cubicle to be seen by Senior House Officer Dr Jenny Seashan.
When your ankle went over, did it go over that way, like that? Or did it go over that way?
That way.
Like that way? Okay. Now I'm just going to gently feel over the bones in your foot and in your ankle and in your leg. What's that pain like where I'm pressing?
Really painful. Over there where you're just pressing there,
Yeah.
that's really painful.
Right. Is that more sore around there than along here?
That's sore.
Here, under my
Yeah.
thumb at the moment? Okay. There's 5 bones that run between your toe and your ankle, and they're called metatarsal bones. You've probably heard of those because of Wayne Rooney, haven't you? And we need to get an X-ray and see this one, because that's where you're complaining of the pain, and make sure that you haven't broken anything there. Okay.
It's exactly a week since his motorcycle accident. And Robert Taylor's recovering well from the operation to put a 38 centimetre or 15-inch pin into his broken thigh. But he's finding the enforced inactivity tough.
Physically, I do quite a lot of exercise, so I feel like I'm reasonably fit for my age. And to be in this position now is quite difficult because I'm not used to it. You know, it's trying to get things going, like even getting out of bed and putting a shirt on. Things like that it's extremely difficult for me to do.
But he hasn't been put off bikes and is already planning a new motorcycle trip with his wife.
It was only like the weekend before that we was actually touring around Wales. So hopefully when I get back fit enough and get the bike up and running again, we can both go on that, because it is pure pleasure, pure pleasure.
It's the same size needle if there's any consolation.
The doctors will use a syringe to suck out nearly 2 litres of air that have escaped from Simon Parker's punctured lung.
Okay. Essentially what we've done is just put a little needle just under Simon's armpit with a plastic kind of cannula on it, taken the needle out and then just sucked a load of air out using a good old-fashioned syringe. Might make you cough just a wee bit on occasion, okay? Not too much. We'll re-X-ray him, do another X-ray to see if it's worked, because sometimes it doesn't. You may think that you're sucking a load of air out, but you're not. So we'll have a look and check that it's better or improved. If it's improved enough, then we'll be able to just let him go home, and we'll just see him in a few days and just check he's still okay. If it's not improved, we'll have another go, and then if that still doesn't work, he'll end up having a chest drain. So a drain put in to drain all the air out.
Wayne Rooney fan Owen Sheridan's X-rays have arrived, and he may indeed have injured his metatarsal, just like the great man himself.
This is your foot, the X-ray of your foot. These are your toes here, which are split into a number of smaller bones, and then these are the metatarsal bones, which is the ones that we were talking about, that run from your toe back to your ankle. And just there, you can't really see it on this film, but when I magnify it on the screen, I can see a very small crack that runs across there. And I think that because that's exactly where you're complaining of the pain, we need to treat that as if it might be a break. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to pop you in a cast overnight, which just holds your foot nice and steady, and then we'll get you seen by the bone doctors at the Children's Hospital tomorrow, and they'll decide how best to look after it. Okay? Owen's X-ray was actually quite inconclusive in that we could obviously see the growth plate at the bottom of the 5th metatarsal, which is often confused with a fracture, but that's normal in a child of his age. But there was also a fine line which could have been a fracture. Now I think if he hadn't had any pain in that area, I would have dismissed it because it wasn't clear enough on the X-ray to be sure. But because it's exactly where his tenderness is, we needed to treat it as a fracture.
If I had the same injury as Wayne Rooney, then I don't think I'll be playing football for a couple of weeks, and he was very upset about he couldn't play football as well, and I feel exactly the same.
8 days after surgeons pinned his broken thigh bone, motorcyclist Robert Taylor is making progress with his physiotherapy.
Is that leg beginning to feel a bit stronger the next couple of days?
I spoke to the consultant who actually done the operation. I said to him, how much weight can I put on my foot now? And he said, put as much as you can stand. If you can put your whole weight on it, fine. He said that it will take it. And that gave me so much confidence. As soon as he said that, I thought, well, I'll try it. And today I did try it. It was a little bit painful, but not agonising pain like pain can be. It's nothing like that at all. It feels like a healing pain, if you can describe it as a healing pain.
The news is good for Simon Parker. The escaped air has been successfully sucked out of his chest, and his punctured lung should now heal itself.
It was uncomfortable, obviously, with a needle put inside of it. It's obviously a weird feeling, but I didn't feel anything in myself. It's now like you can feel yourself be deflated or anything. It's something like that. It's just pressure where the needle was, that's all.
This is the original that we've seen already. This kind of the rim of air there, as we talked about. This is the one after Hamid is aspirated, where he took 1,700 mils off, so nearly close to 2 litres of air, which he took off from here. And if you can see the difference here on this side, the air's pretty much gone. The lung will get better, kind of of its own accord. It'll just heal up the little leak wherever it was will heal, and that probably will be it. Simon's going to go home now, and he's going to come back in the morning for another chest X-ray, just check everything's okay, and if he's all fine in the morning, that'll be it.
Once he's given the all clear, Simon will be able to return to work as normal.
Push yourself back a little bit, you're all right.
I can do that.
It's 12 days since his motorcycle accident, and Robert Taylor's wife Janice, who works as a nurse in Worcestershire, has arrived to take him home. She's philosophical about Robert's accident.
Obviously, you take any risk in life, don't you? So I think you have to take life each day, really, and make the most of it. So I think you can't keep worrying about every eventuality.
They've been absolutely fantastic. The whole team has been brilliant. The nurses staff, they've been fantastic, and I can't fault them, really. But having said that, I just can't wait to get home, sit down, relax with the family, have a glass of wine, and maybe have a look at the bike and see what it's like.
The bike may not be repairable, so we're looking to the future of maybe having to buy a new bike and hopefully be able to travel. And I don't think Rob having this accident will put us off.
Bunnings striker Owen Sheridan has had a cast put on his leg to protect his suspected metatarsal injury. Football may be out for a few weeks, but using his crutches is a new skill to master.
I got the hang of them. Just a little bit big, but I've still got the hang of them anyway.
And every cloud has a silver lining, particularly when it means you won't be able to help Mum and Dad round the house quite as much.
I could still do a bit of tidying up and stuff, but I won't do as much as I used to.